Looks like we are live on Facebook. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cash Call. And my friend Brian Curtis is here with me. I'm Dale Archdekin. Brian, how's your sound working?
You know, my sound's working okay. How about yours?
Yeah, we're good. I'm just going to turn the volume up. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. Yours wasn't connecting, and then my computer died. It froze up. It was fantastic today. So I just want to let everybody know I have a couple great calls to listen to. I'm sure Brian has some stuff to listen to today. But if either one of us goes down, then the other one's going to carry on. If we both go down, I want you to find something productive to do.
That's an excellent idea, Dale.
All right, good. Let's see. I'm going to go. Well, how about I go ahead and get started, Brian?
That would be fabulous, Dale. I think that's a good idea. I'm still catching up here. Trying to claim I'm a technical dude. I'm having trouble proving that.
Yeah, you're not very loud, by the way. It's tough to hear you.
Okay, well, I can definitely talk louder.
That was better.
All right, I can talk loud. That's easy.
Speak into the microphone.
I don't know where it is, so I'm just going to yell.
That works too. How's my sounds good?
Sounds awesome.
All right, let me see. Let me bring this up here. Call review 10-2. There we go. Okay, so I want to give some props here to someone that I work with, and you know, I've played his calls here, which, you know, some of them were dumpster fires, and he totally gives permission to do that. But I want to give him some props and play this good call where he demonstrated several good techniques, and I want to be able to share that with people. So, and his name is Cory. It's okay. He's cool with it. We'll play this. Give me a thumbs up when you can hear it, Brian.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Hey, Joseph. This is Cory over at the Chris Weaver Real Estate Team in Atlantic Sotheby's. How are you this morning?
So he did great, right? He used the guy's name. You went in presumptively. There was a delay. That's not his fault. It was the dialer delay, right? But he recovered from it. He went in straight in, used the guy's name presumptively, like he knows who he's talking to.
I'm doing fine.
Okay, good. I'm sure you're probably going to get a couple calls today in regards to Charles.
You're my second one.
Nah,
You're my second one.
Surprising. Yep.
No, I'm not going to sell.
You're not going to be looking to sell? What's going on with it?
Now, I wouldn't have gone that direction. The guy said, I'm not selling. I would have stayed with not selling and just tested that, right? And I can give a couple of examples of how you test that. Oh, you're not selling. Got it. If I was able to bring you a great offer that was acceptable to you now, would you consider it? That's ask one, right? No. Ask two. Got it. So if I have buyers that are interested in your property, what should I tell them, right?
I love that one.
I don't care what you tell them. I'm not selling it. Got it. So just let me ask you this. Are you sure that you won't sell it, even if it could bring a premium in the market and you could be totally happy with the money in your pocket? I don't know. That's just the third one I made up, right? But those are three different ways of pressure testing. I'm not selling it.
But let's give this guy props, though, because 98% of agents here, I'm not selling. They say, thanks, great, have a good day, and they hang.
There would have been a puddle in the seat, and they would have hung up.
Exactly. Yeah. So props to Cory for that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm keeping my house. That's what's going on with it.
Oh, you're keeping it. Okay. Are you going to revisit at a later point?
Never know.
All right. Are you going to revisit at a later point?
Could be.
Never know.
It ain't going to be this year,
Okay.
and it probably won't be next year.
Okay, I hear you. Is there a benefit of holding off, or is it just you
Okay, perfect. He followed the no, right? Is there a benefit to holding off? Like, let me understand this guy, right? Let me understand where he's coming from. Now, Cory's going to add some stuff onto the end of this question when he should have just ended it right there. Is there a benefit to holding off? Psh, done, right? Fill in the blank, but then he added a little bit on.
Is there a benefit of holding off, or is it just you kind of have to?
No, I don't kind of have to. Yeah, there's a benefit of holding off. I've remodeled 3/4 of the house. I got one more thing to remodel, and guess what? No, I'm not moving. I'm done.
All right. Just by that question, right? What's the benefit? caused him to start giving him more of the story, right? Now he's talking about, you know what, I took it off, I invested a bunch of money into it, put a bunch of work into it, and now I'm not going to revisit it. So now we have a lot more to talk about than just I'm not selling.
Yeah, he did a great job, and I'm not sure what, but what I'm hearing that he's doing is he's doing discovery. It's not necessarily intentionally like scripted discovery, but he's doing discovery. He's finding out what's this guy's reason for doing what he's doing. And, you know, I just had a meeting with some people. We're talking about this. If you don't know what the objection is, if you don't have enough information, we have a tendency to start selling to stuff that's not the problem. So,
Right.
You know, it sounds like that this guy actually paid attention. You know, Cory paid attention to what this guy wanted and where he was going with it. And I mean, I don't know what the end result was, but you know, it feels like he did a really good job of just trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the end result was that the guy decided he was going to stay there and wasn't going to sell. But what Cory did is further went in and said, hey, so, you know, it turned out the guy just still needed to get his kitchen done. He hadn't done that yet. And Cory said, got it. Well, you know, now that you've gotten all of that work done, if you could really get a premium in the market, would you consider selling it again? And ultimately he said no. But that was a great technique that Cory used, which was, oh, got it. Okay, this is where, now I understand you, totally get where you're at right now. You know, if you could get a windfall as a result of the work you put in, which is just sort of flowing along with the guy instead of working against him, would you consider taking advantage of it? Unfortunately, he's not considering it now, but that's how they continued out that call.
Yeah, did he ask at the end, is it okay if I check in with you in 6 months?
Yes, he definitely was following. Yeah, I mean, they follow up with everybody.
So, you know, that's a good thing, guys. So unless you plan on being out of the business in 6-12 months, if you've got some guy who's a year, 2, 3 years out, things change all the time. At some point in time, this guy wanted to sell his house. We know that because he had it listed. So, you know, he went and spent a bunch of money. It reminds me of that Love It or List It program, TV program, where they go on there and all of a sudden they do all this remodeling. They're like, well, never mind, I love this house. So that may be what happened. But you know what? 6 months from now, it might be different. So I love that, you know, you set that up. Hey, you know what, Bob, I'm going to follow up with you in 6 months, and I promise it'll be a short conversation. I'll check in, see if anything's changed. Great, no problem. You know, that's perfect stuff.
Yeah, excellent. All right, Brian, go ahead and tee up yours.
All right, here we go. Oh, I forgot to share my screen.
And so just to recap, while Brian's teeing his up, the couple of things that we heard is enter the call presumptively that you're talking to the right person confidently. And then whatever their no is, if they're not going to do what you want, when you want them to do it, or who you want them to do it with, understand why. What's the benefit to doing it that way? Where are you coming from in your head? Why does that make the most sense in the universe to you? Because underlying there is something they want to get to. And if you can find out what that is, then you can have a much better chance of converting them.
So I'll be honest, this is not the best phone call. And what I mean by that, it's a great learning opportunity, but maybe we didn't have the ultimate success that I was looking for on this phone call. It's actually a 10-minute phone call, and I'm going to jump through some different spots because obviously we don't want to listen to it.
Let's hear the meaty parts.
Yeah.
And P. Ridge.
2036. What was the street name?
Park Circle.
Park Circle. Okay, let me get that pulled up.
Okay, so I'm going over this. I'm a little embarrassed to say that this is still happening on my team. If you don't learn anything else about a phone call, when someone asks you a question, you don't need to know the answer right there immediately. Then to the point, this is an opportunity because you are looking and people have an expectation that you're going to look up some information. Ask them a question. Don't let there be silence. And that's basically what's going to happen here for a little bit is they're going to be silent, silent, silent. All you have to do is say, hey, I'm going to look up that information about 123 Main Street. In the meantime, out of curiosity, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
It builds the silence and gives you permission.
Brian, so, you know, we had your sales director on, or sales manager on.
Yep.
Are they specifically role-playing this with the agents, like practice it over and over again? I'll tell you something. I was just on with a client before this, right? They have a new ISA, and the ISA is calling expireds in a very competitive market, right? And we're going to listen. Well, we don't have one of those calls today, but we can listen to them. he's basically getting punched in the face as soon as somebody gets on the phone with him and he says who he is and where he's from, right? And so today, all we did was role play. I'm not selling my house right now, literally over and over and over again until he could come to their level and say, got it, but if I could get you a great offer on your home today, guaranteed, would you consider it? Or something like that, right? To where he could do that like this. And we just had to do it over and over and over and over again. I think that you're going to do that with
So I'm a little embarrassed, but it feels like, and this is something that, if you're a team leader out there and struggling with some of the struggles that I have, and, our team's pretty successful. I'm not complaining about that, but here's the great thing. There's so many.
When you hear this, you're like, "Ugh."
Yeah. I used to have no gray hair 4 years ago when I'm just kidding. But very seriously, understand that if you're having these same problems, or if you're an agent out there going, crap, I do the same thing, it's okay. You can practice it. You can get better at it. And that's what this is all about. So,
just like over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Like artificially, just take it out of context and do it over and over again.
Absolutely. Yeah. What's that? Repetition is the mother of something. I can't remember the word. But basically, the more you do things, the more natural it becomes, and that's how you become. That's where you get mastery from.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward a little bit. See what we're dealing with? We're dealing with a whole bunch of silence. So I'm going to go up to 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Looking at in the Pea Ridge area, Arkansas?
Right now, I'm waiting to hear back from, I applied for a VA loan, and so I'm just waiting to hear back from that. So, and I happened to see that one. We were kind of looking, just seeing what was out there. And so I just figured I'd give a call on that one to see what it was, but.
I got you. Have you been looking very long, or did you start with the loan process first and kind of see where that was going, and then you were going to get started looking?
Yeah. Like I said, we're just kind of looking at the kind of the some of the houses, the price ranges and stuff like that. Not really like nothing too serious yet because I'm waiting to see what comes back.
Where the money is.
Yeah.
No, understandable. No, you don't want to fall in love with a house you can't afford or don't want to afford. Just because you can't afford it doesn't mean you want to. There's a couple different ways to look at it. So absolutely. Are you looking at in the Pea Ridge area?
Yeah. Preferably Pea Ridge, but Pea Ridge, Rogers area, but preferably Pea Ridge.
So here's what I'm going to say about this call because it gets a little bit long and drawn out, and I'm going to forward to the end here in a second. I feel like my agent forgot his process.
He kind of did.
I know this guy. He closes a lot of transactions. He's a good agent, but he forgot his process. So what's happening is he's going from this, I'm going to discover this, I'm going to discover. He's basically letting the potential buyer completely run this entire call. So
yeah, but the problem,
not my number one rule, which is take control.
But I don't even hear the buyer taking control. The buyer,
it's just like,
buyer's like, I want to buy a house. The agent's like, oh, you want to buy a house? Yeah, I want to buy a house. Oh, so you want to buy a house? I do want to buy a house, right? It's just kind of like doing one of these right here.
Right. Now, so I'll tell you a little bit more of the part of that we didn't actually listen to in this call. This guy has 4 kids, 1 on the way, and his mother-in-law lives with him. This guy needs a flipping house because he's got so much space that he needs a big house.
Yeah, with a garage that can be made into an apartment.
Yeah. So, this person needs help. And really what he's saying as we listen to it is like, help me. I don't know what I'm doing. He actually did go forth and actually go. But, it's interesting because I hear this all the time. He said, yeah, I've talked to the BA. So I don't know who he talked to, but I'm 100% sure he did talk to the BA because the BA is not answering questions about home loans. So the BA is a guarantor and have nothing to do with giving loans. Yeah. So this guy has no idea what he's doing. He knows he needs help. And what is frustrating to me is that we didn't take control and say, you know what, Bob, this is what we need to do. We need to get together. We need to do this. There's so many opportunities. He don't know what he's doing. Help him.
Right.
And, I'm actually meeting with this agent here in about an hour and a half, and we're going to have this exact discussion. But I want to fast forward it to just.
And Brian, when you were playing this and there was so much dead space, I was going to point out that I don't know how many, so far we've probably spoken about I'm looking for this property, tickety-tacky issue. we probably talked about it like 8 times on this show already. You know what I mean?
I know.
And it still continues to happen, which is crazy.
Yes. So I'm going to play just a little bit of the end of this, and this is the part that it drove my entire sales meeting today. So I'll kind of share that.
And what's a good email for you, Richard?
It's rick112377 @yahoo.com.
Okay, I'm gonna get a search set up. Just kick you a couple of houses based on these specs. I know we don't have price yet, but we can still keep looking. And I'm gonna follow up with you on Thursday. Since tomorrow you're gonna get hear back from the VA loan, and I'd love to follow up with you on Thursday and just touch base and see what you found out from the lender. And if we can find some houses to go look at, I'd love to help you do that too.
All right.
And talk about the home buying process and everything that's involved. So, and everything that a realtor does for you. So, my name's Adam,
Let me guess.
and I will after you.
Let me guess one thing that you said. Set the appointment.
Thank you.
Make the goddamn appointment. You can always cancel it if he doesn't have 2 nickels to rub together or can't get financing. Just set the appointment.
So what I've come to the conclusion of, and if you are listening to this today, this is how I started my sales meeting out. How many people in this, and there's 25 people in the room, how many people in this room consider themselves to be salespeople? And 3 people raise their hand. Why? Because we have this perception, and this perception is what's causing this problem, in my opinion. We're consultants. We're whatever flowery kind of BS name we want to put on it. I'm a salesperson.
You know
if
what,
you want to be successful, be a freaking salesperson.
I'm a consultant. I make money as a consultant, but you're damn straight. I sell people on my consulting,
There you go.
right?
Don't
Sell
be
them consulting.
Yes. Be a salesperson. And again, you can be other things too. I'm not saying that you can't be other things, but be a salesperson and be proud of it. You know, it's funny. I put on the board ABC, always be closing. And that's a corny, Glenn Ross thing. If those of you haven't seen it, it's a fun movie. Don't suggest you actually use the techniques. But my point is, we don't have to sell like it's 1983, but we should start selling like it's 2019. What does that mean? We're using tie downs, we're using trial closes, and we're actually asking closing questions like, great, what time do you have available this week? I have time on Thursday and Friday. Which day works better for you? We'll get together and we'll go look at some houses, or we'll get together and meet my lender, or we'll get together and I'll go over this process with you. Sounds like you have some urgency. You need some space. Set a freaking appointment. And there's nothing that's more frustrating to me at this point in my career, watching people just be afraid to ask for the appointment.
He was right there. He was like right there, and he had all the pieces. He didn't just decide on the day and time. You know what I mean?
So here's where my thoughts are today. Stop going for maybe. Go for yes, go for no. I sat with another agent this morning, and he said, somebody told me to F off. I said, congratulations. He looked at me like I lost my mind. I said, that's one less person that you need to call. Now you can call somebody who won't tell you to F off. Now you can call someone who actually wants to look at the house. Stop looking for maybe.
They
Maybe
gave you a
stop.
definite answer, right?
Yes. Yes or no. That way I can work with the people here, and then I can get new people. Maybes eat our life apart. If you listen to or read the book Fanatical Prospecting, Jed Blunt talks about that. Stop calling the people who are nice to you, who are never going to do business with you. Close and get out of the way. If you need some friends, go to a bar on the weekend. Go play golf. Do something like that. Stop looking for friends. Stop looking for fun conversations. We are salespeople.
That's funny.
Go ahead and get the no.
One other thing I want to point out about that, Brian, about asking for the appointment. So that agent, right? He feels he had a great conversation with this guy where we got some warm and fuzzies going on, right? He just released that fish back into the river. And you know what's downstream or what was upstream is any other agent that whose website he registered on, whose thing he opted into, or his cousin that just got their license, whatever. And if that next person makes more warm and fuzzies and then asks for the appointment, which he didn't already get, he has the potential of losing that business very easily, right? And to the credit of everybody watching Cash Call, if he runs into any agent watching Cash Call after October 2nd, he's going to lead because they're going to ask for the appointment, right? That's the other thing. You got to protect your CYA, right? Cover your ass. Ask for the damn appointment so that you can help to shut down your competitors.
Yes. And here's the thing. I think people are afraid of no. If you ask a closing question, you're going to get one of two things. You're going to get a yes or you're going to get a no. But that no is usually followed by objections. If you're not getting objections, you don't understand what's happening with your client. Every client has an objection. I don't know what that objection is, but we need to be asking more closing questions to get to the objections, because most of the time the objections are nothing. They're, oh, such and such and such, bam, we move on. But the unanswered objection is the thing that's going to kill us. That's the reason that people ghost you. That's the reason that people don't work with you, because they had a question, you didn't bother to figure out what it was. They had an objection, you didn't bother to figure out what it was, and you started talking to them about the exact wrong thing, or just something that has nothing to do with what they're concerned.
Yeah, let's hear this call. In fact, this kind of ties into that as well. Now, this is a newer ISA that's doing this, and you're going to, I want to point out some things that we hear here.
Hey, hi there. It's 70 Realty. I was calling you about your property out there in San Bruno, and I noticed it came off the market. I was just wondering when you plan on interviewing someone to help you sell it.
All right, so the intro's too slow. We got a bunch of uhs in there, right? Which makes this agent or this ISA sound unconfident. I don't know if that's a word. Not confident, right? Whatever the opposite of confident is, right? He doesn't sound like he's supposed to be there. It doesn't sound like he knows exactly what he's doing. It sounds like he's a little bit lost, which will cause people to lose confidence in you. And especially, I know that this ISA is calling into really competitive expired market, and that's going to get you shut down pretty fast. That intro, you have to be much more confident. Hi, this is so-and-so with whatever realty. I'm calling you to see if you're planning on selling X address. Or I noticed your home came off the market. Are you still planning on selling X address? Or even to go with his script, the more old school one, I'm calling it. I noticed that your property at X address came off the market. When are you planning on hiring the right agent for the job of selling it? Right? Confident, on point.
So, Dale and I both talk about not being scripted. And I think we both believe in not being scripted. I'm going to make an exception to that. Every intro should be scripted. You should be able to say that intro like this, like you should be able to say it in your sleep, because you need to come across as someone who knows what the heck they're talking about. Do you really want to make your most trusted asset to a guy who goes, hey, I was wondering if, no, I'm not, my house is worth $500,000. I'm not working with this guy. He can't even get a sentence out.
Right.
Think about that.
Exactly. And in fact, let's talk about being scripted before I get here. This sounds like a great segue to talk about this. In terms of scripting, absolutely. Your intro has to be scripted and on point. Your closings should be scripted and on point. Your value propositions should be scripted and on point. And you should know the structure of your discovery questions. But otherwise, once you know those pieces, then you can dance with anyone.
Yeah, we'll wait until next year. Okay?
Waiting to next year, and then she sold him and then she closed him. Okay? Right?
You doing what?
I'll wait until next year. Sorry, I'm in the middle of something right now.
And then she closed him again. I'm in the middle of something right now, right? This lady's a closer. I'm going to hire her.
Seriously.
Yeah, no problem. Do you have 2 minutes? I just want to send you my business card.
I'm so sorry. I can't. I'm in the middle of something.
Well, what's your email, and then I'll let you go. I just want to send you my business card.
All right, now we're off on the wrong track, like sending business cards and things like that, right? And especially when you're talking to expireds like this, and the call pretty much ends right after that. I think she hangs up. You've got two options. When the lead says, no, we're waiting till next year, you've got two options, right? The first option is go straight for the close. if you could X, would you X or Y, right? If you could be guaranteed of X, would you consider Y? That's a straight close right there, right? She said, we're going to wait till next year. Oh, got it. Well, if you could be 100% confident that it would sell this time with an acceptable number for you, would you consider putting it back on the market, right? So that's a straight close. Or you can go the other route, which I tend to promote more often, which is discovery and understand where they're at. So what's the benefit to waiting till next year? Right?
And here's, I don't know when this call existed, but here's the thing. Next year, by the way, it's not very far away.
No, it's a few months from now. This is a fresh call from this week.
Yeah, so you think about that too. You know, understand when someone says next year, he didn't say they wanted to wait a year. They said they wanted to wait next year. So the truth of the matter is you could still set an appointment with this person hypothetically, and they could list their house next year. Both of those things can be true.
Absolutely. Generally speaking, if I'm talking to a potential seller that's going to be putting their house on the market within 12 months, I'm going to get in front of them and I'm going to ask them to sign a listing agreement.
Yeah, I've done listing agreements 3 and 4 months out. And again, I can't speak to every market. I'm not talking about the legality of that. Completely legal in my market to sign a listing agreement today that goes live in 6 months.
Yeah, ours is up to a year. You can only sign a contract for a year. And you can do an MLS waiver. So maybe we should give that clarification, Brian.
Yeah. So yeah, please don't break any rules. We're not suggesting that, but what we are suggesting is, as long as it's legal to get somebody in writing, get them in writing. You know,
absolutely.
I've had people do that. Well, I'm not listing my house for another 3 months. Great. So that's what. Okay, perfect. I'll put it for January 5th. If anything changes in between now and then, let me. I got it on paper. It's not going to guarantee I'm going to get that listing, but I'm a heck of a lot closer than I was with. I'll call you back in January.
Right, because you better hope that I don't call them after you, or that
because Dale's closing.
Yeah, or that Brian doesn't call them after you, because he's going to be on their couch and they're going to be signing the listing. Let's see, we're at 3:30. Do you want to play your next one, or do you want to hold it for next time?
No, I'm good. I want to make sure that we're, respecting people's time. We've got 30 minutes, and I appreciate that.
I mean, they already got a double barrel of Dale and Brian for this week. We don't want to overdo it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well,
yeah.
and I appreciate you, Dale. Great calls. Great information.
Good stuff, man. All right, everybody. See you all next week. Once again, chat in, message us, or direct message us, or email us if you want to get your calls played in here. We'll be happy to play them. Happy to give you some free coaching advice from expert coaches. All right. See you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody.